Hey everyone, I'm Gunjan and I help lead product for Atlassian Rovo. Today we are not here to do another AI is the future talk. We are here to show you something more practical, how AI can actually work like a teammate right inside Jira, Confluence, and rest of your stack. So your teams can spend less time on manual tasks and more time on thoughtful, strategic work they were hired to do. We'll show you how Rovo adapts and is deeply embedded in your teams, helping you move faster, make better decisions, and focus on real outcomes. We'll bring that to life through 3 new experiences. First, Rovo Studio, where you can turn your company's knowledge into agents and workflows tailored to your teams. And inside Studio, we'll show you the MCP gallery, which lets you extend Rovo agents with skills from tools you already use, be it Intercom, Box, HubSpot, etc. And then last, agents in Jira, bringing agents into the center of project management, so humans and agents can work together on the same Jira workflows. And this is not hypothetical. Everything we'll show you is available for Atlassian customers to start using today. Joining me today are teammates from product and marketing, Alfredo, Melissa, and Matt, who will help bring all of this to life. Alfredo, do you want to show what your team has been working on?
Yeah, thanks, Gunjan. As a PM, one of the hardest parts of my job is figuring out what to build next. Every day I'm looking at marketing reports, strategy docs, customer feedback, and support tickets. Gunjan, Matt, I'm sure you guys have experienced this, right?
All the time.
It's a pain every day.
Absolutely. The problem is that everything's all over the place. So even though the information exists, I end up being the glue that sticks everything together, tracking it down, connecting the dots, and turning all this data into something actionable. And if I ever wanted to automate any of this, I need to talk to our IT teams to make sure that they can build something custom, which just slows everything down. So just a quick heads up before we dive in, what you're seeing is part of our early access experience. So you might notice a few rough edges, and that's intentional. You want your early feedback to help shape what's next. So here we're in Rovo Studio. Think of this as a place where you can design, test, and launch agents and automations right where you already work. So instead of a complicated setup, Studio just starts with a simple question: what are we building? And if you're not sure where to begin, there are many ready-made examples to help, like translating content or filling gaps in your knowledge base. In my case, what I want to build is something that helps me with product prioritization. So I'll just describe what I want. So every 2 weeks, give me a feature prioritization brief that pulls market insights and customer feedback from our Jira Strawberry backlog. Here's the cool part. Studio already understands how work happens inside my organization, from across my projects, my teams, and tools. So I don't have to feel like I'm starting from scratch. It uses real context to propose something that actually works and fits into how we operate. So Studio takes my input and makes an intelligent proposal. For example, an agent that analyzes a bunch of signals, and in this case, an automation that runs every 2 weeks and produces a Confluence brief. All right, let's go ahead and build it. I take a quick look, and honestly, everything I need is already set up. No complicated configuration, everything is just ready to go. Now I'm gonna try to activate this agent and try it out. So I'm gonna ask it, how should we prioritize improvements to Strawberry Mobile in Q2? And the agent just gets to work. So it pulls data from support documents, customer feedback, and strategy docs, and any other relevant data inside Studio. And it gives me a clear recommendation with reasoning and next steps. And I think this is a great start, but I want to make sure that it's scannable for all my stakeholders. So I give Studio a query like, can you update the scenario to always include responses in a table format? I can easily make all these changes to my agent just by chatting in natural language. Rovo instantly updates the agent. You can see here that the format is now a lot easier for my team to read. And now the agent will always use this format going forward. I can also embed this agent into Jira, Confluence, Jira Service Management, and even third-party products, right within the tools and workflows that my team uses every day. So what used to be a bunch of tabs and a lot of manual work for us is now a very simple, scalable process that we can share directly with our teams. Now I don't have to chase any information. I can just ask my agent all these questions and focus on the things I care about, like strategy and decisions.
It's been actually amazing to see how PMs and other folks at Atlassian have been able to use these agents, which seem simple, but they handle so much complicated tasks, saves us so much time. So we are able to scale our teams well by building these simple agents. These tab savings, these hour savings to get work done have been very powerful.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is one of the biggest benefits of leveraging agents for work. So feature prioritization is just one example of what Rovo Studio can do for us. We're already seeing teams triage and fix bugs with agents, analyze feedback from thousands of Jira work items. The key idea is very simple. Rovo agents aren't something you bolt on and figure out in isolation. They're designed to work inside the systems you already use every day. We'll share an early access link so you can test Rovo Studio in your own workflows and tell us what you think. So far, we've seen how Rovo Studio helps you go from an idea to a working agent. But what if you want deeper connections with more tools outside of Atlassian? That's what Melissa will show us next.
Awesome. Thanks, Alfredo. Really great to get that overview of Studio. And I know I've already been diving in a little bit, but you just made me more excited to try some of those new features. Our teams live in Atlassian, but they also spend their time in Figma, Amplitude, Canva, and more. And we need AI tools that are connected, but today that can mean jumping between systems and manually stitching everything together. And we hear the same thing from our customers all the time. Everyone wants to move faster, but work slows down when your tools and AI don't actually connect. That's why we're introducing a new way to extend what Rovo agents can do in Studio with MCP Gallery. So, what is MCP Gallery? Think of it as a library of skills ready to go in Atlassian from the tools you already rely on. With the MCP Gallery, you can connect your agents with thousands of MCP servers. It means instead of AI saying, sorry, I can't interact with that file, Rovo can actually reach into your connected tools and get things done, all without having to switch apps or break your flow. You can choose to build custom agents with these MCP skills, or we offer pre-built agents to get going quickly. Let me show you what customizing your agent looks like with an example from our own marketing team. We often have great written content and blog posts, usually living in Confluence, but building this into visuals can be slow and painful. Normally, that means filling out tickets, waiting for design bandwidth, and going back and forth on concepts. With Rovo MCP skills, I can get a head start in minutes. I'm going to go ahead and work from a blog that we're trying to publish soon. I'm just going to go ahead and open up an agent. The agent's goal is to turn ideas into first drafts that we can then edit. And up until now, it's been able to generate text. But with MCP Gallery, we can change that. So I'm going to go ahead and look at the skills that it has. As I mentioned, it has some for generating content, editing pages, but there's nothing really here around design. So I'm going to go ahead and add a skill. And all I need to do is scroll down to the MCP section of skills where I can see multiple different options I could choose from. In this case, I'm going to choose Canva MCP and select Generate Design with AI and simply add that skill. What I'm going to go ahead and add to its instructions is a simple prompt. When using the Canva skill, always use Strawberry brand guidelines. Simple as that, and we're ready to go. I can activate this agent and tell it a simple prompt that I want it to run. Generate a blog header image for our blog, Why This Meeting Should Have Been a Bloom. And the agent comes back with some great header images. They're bright graphics that are on brand for us. Instant marketing gold. I could keep iterating and going back and forth to the agent to ask it to make some edits, but as I mentioned, marketing gold, so we're gonna stick with it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give the agent another prompt to add image 3 from its recommended images. And now it comes back, and actually the blog is right here with that image at the top. So it's no longer a boring piece of straight text, but actually a rich blog piece here. So it's much more visually appealing. Honestly, I expect that more people are going to engage with it with this header image, so I'm very excited. And what used to take days of back and forth now becomes a creative starting point in seconds. And it's not just marketing that can do this, it works across every team, right? Design teams can use MCP skills like Figma to move faster on wireframes. Enablement teams can use Gamma to turn outlines into presentations. And ops teams can connect New Relic to troubleshoot issues faster. And I bet there's some ideas around this table. Gunjan, you've been using Amplitude, right?
Oh, it's been a game changer. So we are diving into Amplitude all the time, trying to learn what features are working well, where we see a leaky funnel, what's been retaining users well, what customers love and what they don't. And now having this MCP skill, I can just ask questions, get the information, and I can just easily move that to a Confluence page or Epic or a spec. So my job is like significantly streamlined. I'm not spending hours and hours digging the data myself. One thing I actually really love what you showed is not just the MCP skill, which is doing the work, it's the context of your whole organization's knowledge, which is coming along with it. So any isolated skill can become significantly more powerful with all the knowledge we have across your Atlassian products and other third-party products, so which makes that skill even more powerful. And folks in my team, I've been loving it.
And this isn't only about pulling information into Atlassian. These skills can also take action directly in other tools. We believe that AI should be open and extensible by default, adapting to your tools, your data, and the way you work. That's why we're investing in things like Rovo MCP Server, connectors, and the Rovo MCP gallery. So customers and partners can tap into whatever systems they already rely on. Now let's look at how this comes to life in Jira, where Rovo agents and humans can work side by side. Matt?
Thanks, Melissa. I remember the first time I saw that MCP gallery, my eyes just lit up with all of the opportunities to create agents that are going to support our team. So we've just seen two really important innovations for how Rovo is going to redefine teamwork through Rovo Studio, where you can design agents that are truly your own, and MCP Gallery, where you can plug powerful third-party skills from your favorite tools. Now we're going to show you how it all comes together in Jira, where agents and humans work together to accomplish more than they ever have before. Today, we'll show you how we're bringing agents into the center of your workflow so your team can get work done without having to leave Jira. So you can bounce less between tools, spend less time on busy work, and make decisions way faster. Let me show you how this works. Let's say I'm a UX researcher and looking to send out an email requesting feedback from our customers. My team has already created an email writer agent that follows our style guide and can publish drafts directly into Confluence. When agents are assignable in Jira, a few things change. Work moves between humans and agents seamlessly. There's always a human who remains accountable, and when we assign the agent, we're going to see that clearly in the assignee field. And the rest of the team has visibility that an agent is engaged, even when the conversation with the agent stays just between me and that agent itself. Now, when I select the agent, it gets to work right away, with its progress posted directly on the work item. The work happened with an agent, but it stayed in Jira, and so that means it's visible, trackable, and under control. We can see here that the agent has sent back a page for our review. This looks pretty good, and I could always open and chat and continue refining, going back and forth with the agent, but in this case I'm happy, so I'm going to hit publish. That gives the agent permission to publish that page in my team's Confluence space. Once published, the agent drafts up a comment to share the work back with our team right on the work item. I'll take the agent's suggestion here for the comment to send back to my team, and once I've saved that, you can see I've closed the loop. I've worked in private with this agent to refine a page, and then I've closed the loop and shared that back with my team as a comment. Now, assignment works great when you want an agent to own a task, but sometimes you just need a quick assist. Here we've got a Jira work item from our engineering team. It represents a backend change that the team needs to make. So I'm an engineer, let's say. I've been assigned to this ticket, and I need to start digging in. I've read through the description and linked up the docs, but I want some help scaffolding the change and making sure I don't miss any edge cases. Instead of switching tools, I can now @mention the GitHub Copilot coding agent right here in the comments. So you can see I mention the agent, I give it some instructions. With that mention, the agent is able to pick up context from the work item. It uses its connection to the teamwork graph to pull in all relevant context from my team, and then it also goes to GitHub to inspect relevant repos, recent PRs, and existing tests. The agent has responded right here in line with a concrete code-aware plan. This looks pretty good, but I can see some issues. It hasn't quite picked up on everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refine with this agent. To do that, I simply hit open in chat. I can then suggest some edge cases that it hasn't quite picked up on, send that back off. The agent gets to work, and it's come back with a plan that looks much better. So let me pull the session back to the work item, and I'm going to give the agent permission to start working. The agent gets to work. Right here on the work item, it keeps me updated with what it's doing. I could go off and do other things and come back later. And what we can see is now the GitHub Copilot coding agent has finished its work. I can review, and if this all looks good, I'm going to close the loop again and share it back with my team. So I hit draft comment and save that. The agent handled the heavy lifting, but I reviewed and made the final decision. And because the whole exchange lives on the work item, anyone that picks up this work item is able to see that I worked with an agent and see the results of our work right there in the comments. So far, we've seen assigning an agent to work and mentioning an agent in the comments. So something we've noticed on our team is that we tend to use the same agents over and over again. Particularly on marketing teams, the example you gave before, Melissa, I could imagine your team using that agent all the time for different blogs you send out.
Most definitely. We already use it weekly.
Fantastic. So what I want to show you is how you can actually add agents directly into your workflow. So from the workflow builder, you're able to now add agents that will get automatically triggered as part of workflow transitions. Directly from the board view, you can also set this up. From that column, I can select any agent that I want to be triggered when work moves into that column. And you'll see that when I move work into that column and open up the work item, that agent has been automatically triggered and has got to work. You can see here how agents are seamlessly woven into your team's Jira workflow. With agent assignment, Jira has become the orchestration layer for human AI collaboration and the central place where work is planned, executed, and shipped.
Thanks, Matt. Great demos. It was awesome to see how we are showing that the agents are graduating, as if you are sparring with them, then you are giving them a task. If they feel high quality, you're automating stuff, and while you're staying in control throughout. All right, let's bring it all together. Rovo is an AI that actually understands how your business works. With Rovo Studio, you shape the agents and the automations your team needs. With MCP Gallery, you give those agents skills from the tools across your stack. And with agents in Jira, humans and agents work side by side in the same Jira workflows. It connects to your tools, embeds into your processes, and adapts to the way your teams operate. So AI becomes part of how work gets done, not something separate. And it's all built on Atlassian's enterprise platform with security and governance you can trust. So what's next? The best step is simple. Try Rovo with your teams. Think about bottlenecks and manual work you deal with today and how agents and automations could help you solve them. On behalf of the whole team, thank you for spending the time with us today. We can't wait to see what you build with Rovo and how it helps you move forward your business. Thank you.